Okay, party people, welcome back. Yeah, old school pool, going for another swim. A little bit apprehensive, to be honest. I've never swum this lake before, but I've been having my eye on it for quite a while. It was about where to park, really, and yo behold, I'm actually at the back of the cemetery. On the left hand side there's a church, and then I saw the cemetery on the right over there is a little kind of area where I parked before just to have a look, but it could be private property. Well, with a cemetery, you know, it's private but public. Obviously people got to come here, and I don't know anybody in here, thank God. Otherwise they'll be dead. And I don't come here, and I've got to come into this precarious little entrance into the actual water through this brush and through a swamp, and yeah, God bless. Gotta put my key somewhere. So let's see how we can get in this thing. It's a bit of a jaunt, but oh well. Yeah, a little brushy. We'll see. I can see a little path down there. That could be the spot. Hide my car key. Just remember where I put it. Yo. Yeah, we're going to try and put a bit of a spin on a bit of negativity to positivity. We've had a little bit of a negative morning, to be honest. Oh, yep, broken old tree. Was effing around with YouTube, and there was a glitch in one of my on my channel, and it was taking me a while to figure it out, and it was a delay basically on the comment section where I was trying to comment to a subscriber, and there was a huge delay. Yeah, anyways, right now I'm just focusing on this little swamp area. I've got some booties on, actually, surf booties, you can see. Yeah, they're good for water shoes for coming in and out of this kind of spots, you know. You never know where you're going to tread on. And there's a house over there as well. I don't really like swimming where there's houses, but oh well, they'll get to see me and maybe moan to themselves, "Ooh, we got a swimmer coming out in our outside our house." Bit smelly, man. Wow. Yeah. Oh well. A lot of plant life. Well, we can see what we can see, right? Just gonna swim around the shore over here, and yeah, quite a bit of pollen in here. Sometimes it looks like algae, but it ain't. And yeah, just just dip in, right? So I was a bit apprehensive actually coming and making a video. I was just going to go to the lake just down the road, but I was like, you know, who dares wins, man? Who dares wins? Yeah, keep up get away from the negativity, right? Here we go. And see what we can see. There's a couple of houses over there, and they look like they're all year-round houses. So, whatever. It's not a private lake. And there's a lot of it you can't actually see, so it goes around the corner up there and around into another area, but yeah. You never know what people think, right? They got a house, there's a road access down there, which is where these houses are actually on. But you can't really access a lake on a somewhat private road. Yeah. Private house, private road. I've had a few people come out of their house and walk around their yard or their garden and stand and stare at me swimming, so that happens. But if you want to kind of go places that are no one swims, that's what you got to do, right? And it's taken me a while to find out an entrance in here. Wasn't that deep in the woods, but you know, I mentioned yesterday, the last video, I like to just park my car. You know, I don't mind walking 5-10 minutes, and then I want to get in, right? A lot of bugs out this time of year. Walking in the woods as well. There's also a tick epidemic in Nova Scotia. Luckily, they don't like me so much, right? They kind of know what kind of blood type you are or some shit. And hang on. And they're horrible, man. Horrible. They bite in and suck on your blood. Man, they can burrow themselves like into your skin. Yeah, but they wasn't actually native ticks here. I think they came from the US originally. So, well, so I've heard. And there's a new variant of this tick that if you get bit, and well, the first tick you can get Lyme disease. The second tick they found and discovered, if you get a bit and it infects you or somehow whatever, you can actually start being allergic to meat. Yep, look it up. Couldn't make it up. My dog's vaccinated for ticks, and when they actually bite onto my dog, straight away they fall off. I found a couple in my bed. Yeah, they'll get in the fur. Anyways, kind of try and change the subject here. Talking about bloody negative bugs, man. But that wasn't too bad getting in. There's another little house right here. Wow. Yeah. Just gonna try and swim. Well, if they see me here, oh well. It's a free lake to swim. I like to see a bit of wildlife. That's one of the reasons why I swim as well in rural lakes, remote lakes. But like I said, I was a bit apprehensive swimming. You always get a bit apprehensive swimming in a new lake. How deep it is, if there's rocks, if you're going to cut your foot. You know, is there any leeches in there? Is there any snapping turtles? You know, snapping turtles will generally kind of like mooch away from you. They're harmless, but if you tread on one, maybe it will snap, and yeah. Leeches, I haven't seen too many around this year. But it's a beautiful day, really beautiful. And the water seems very clean. Getting in over there was a little smelly. It's probably just a bit of sulphur or something. A lot of minerals in this water around here. Very good minerals. Yeah. Copper. A lot of copper. The Ravenhaven is notoriously known for copper in it. It turns like a little orangey colour, the water. That looks just like a cabin over there. So I'm going to go this way, away from the house. Looks like it's lived in all year round. I don't want to swim right outside their house, like, you know. To them it's like their own private little Idaho, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, having some kind of person swimming right outside your house is like looky-loo, you know? But I can see that's a cabin over there. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, we'll go over this way and back. So I was thinking about this, you know, sometimes I'm going to talk in my swims, the educational tips and stuff and stories I got. And you know, I was thinking of this like this morning. I was kind of being a bit negative, right? I was like, well, shall I swim there, shall I? That kind of thing. No, I have the right to come here and swim. It's just how do I access it and park in the car and, you know, etc, etc. And a little quick story here. The other day I was thinking this, right, you know, because sometimes your head gets a little negative. I was thinking this one girl that I knew, I didn't really know her personally, but she was a flight attendant up in the Arctic in Canadian North, sorry. But it's just flights that fly in the north. You would be able to get a flight from a major city like Edmonton to Yellowknife, which is the capital of the Northwest Territories. And from there, Yellowknife's the gateway to the Arctic everywhere. And you can fly small planes, you know, twin props, jets even. And anyway, where I lived in the community in the Northwest Territories, a place called Leslacquet, which is a native community. Okay, that's how they pronounce it in Denizate, which is Leslacquet. And it's the name of the place is called Fort Simpson. I tried to speak the native name, always refer to it as Leslacquet. Anyways, one trip I was on a plane, and the air hostess, she was super duper, I'm talking mega positive about everything, right? Which was almost to a point it was weird, right? Because the way she served you and addressed you, and you know, she came around with either biscuits or pretzels, cookie or pretzels. She'll be like, would you like cookie or pretzels? And you'll be like, pretzels please. She'll be like, yeah, awesome, wicked, awesome, right on. And she was like that the whole time. Would you like water or a can of pop? You know, and you'd be like, oh, I'll take a water please. Awesome, yeah, awesome, way to go. Everything was awesome, you know, every minute. Now, excuse me, can I get there and use the toilet? Yeah, awesome. I was thinking, man, she must be a really positive person, you know, just by keeping that in her mind every minute, every second of the day. She was just like that, right? She was just awesome, everything's awesome, you know. I was thinking, maybe if you just put that in your head about everything, surely your mind's going to change, right? You're just going to be awesome, everything's awesome. That's how you got to look at it. That's how you got to put things in your head these days, man. I mean, obviously she was hired, and that's a, you know, a respectful job, being a flight attendant, and it was like she had a disability with it, you know. I mean, it was a little weird. A few other passengers would be, oh, you know, and I liked her. It didn't get annoying. I just thought, well, that's the way she is, right? And Canada North, and whoever hired her thought that's great, you know. And you just got to put these things in your mind, man, where, you know, there's a lot of shit going on in the planet right now. Wars, destruction, economics, you know, economy and everything. And you're going to change that negative mind thought to a positive, right? I know it doesn't happen all the time, but that's what you got to do. I mean, some of this stuff you can't change. It ain't going to happen. You alone ain't going to change shit, right? Maybe the majority of something. Right, I had an opportunity where I'm pro-native. My girlfriend's native, and a lot of stuff going on in Canada and against native peoples of Canada. And you know, I had the chance to activism, becoming into the activism groups and stuff, but I couldn't because I wasn't a citizen. And if you get arrested and you get charged in Canada with any kind of a felony, you could be deported even if you've lived there 10, 15 years. So there was chances where I wanted to kind of protest, but I didn't, because I didn't want to get arrested. I didn't want to get deported, right? And you know, now would I do it? I probably wouldn't anyway, but a lot of people protesting in Los Angeles right now against ICE and all this kind of stuff and immigration, right? I'm on the fence with everything, right? I just kind of stay in the middle. You know, there's always going to be a left wing and a right wing, and they're attached to the same body, right? So there ain't nothing you can do about it. You can maybe in the protest movements and stuff, but yeah, I live really rural. I don't live near anywhere big city or stuff where they even have that kind of thing going on out here. So I remember I do see a few people where I live on the corner, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 people on pro-Palestinian flags, stuff, stop the genocide and all that kind of thing. My point of view about it is to myself, right? You know, it's okay to know both sides of the story, but I'm in the middle, man. I don't really take a side, you know. So I don't know how people feel about that. You're actually doing nothing, but you know, less of the politics, mate. You know what I mean? I've been swimming breaststroke the whole entire time here. Oh, so far so good. And the more of that stuff you watch on YouTube, on the news, the more you're going to become, you know, fearful of living, you know. Even the minutest thing, you're like, well, you can't do that no more. You can't do this. Yeah, I think I should change the subject. Yeah, so this lake goes actually around there. Google mapped quite a lot of my lakes and find out, especially on other maps I got, where it's property owned, and I can see where's private, where's crown land, maybe how to access it. Is there a dirt road? This is a nice lake. Yeah. Once you swum a lake once, you get the feel for it, you get the vibe, you come back and you go again, right, you know? It's just that first time, you're about, well, I'm actually going to go out in tomorrow and look at this blow-up pool, just for some kind of submerged dunks. Want to need to. It's probably good to have in your house as well at home. Even in your yard or wherever you can. Cold water showers, cold baths, really good for you, really good for your mind. Well, I haven't seen much wildlife in here. Well, I can feel the bottom here, so yeah, just cross the other side. Not too bad. Don't know how long that was, probably 15 minutes, 10, 12. Yeah, so this morning I had a problem with re-commenting on a comment, and yo behold, it was just a glitch maybe going through a filter through YouTube, and it was taking its time, and I ended up replying to one of my subscribers about 5-6 times to see if at first I thought it was a word that I'd kind of said or something that YouTube was cancelling my comment. They got a knack of doing that. So if you're watching, Andrew, you get like 5 notifications with nothing there. It's because they did eventually come up and I had to erase them. And sorry if you got ping notifications and there's nothing there. But thanks for the comment. Appreciate people that take the time, and you know, there's no nature to look at or anything, maybe some educational narration, some kind. Or you're listening to me gabber on. About whatever the topic of day is, right? You know. The topic of the day. Just had to turn that little negative mindset into a positive. Just the apprehension of getting in a new lake, but that's what it's all about here for me. And I think next week I'm going to go up the valley, and my other vehicle is a 2002 Chevy Tracker I've had for many years, and I took out the back seat and converted it and put a bed in it. So I go off a little Rogan places and park off the hidden, you know, parking off a hidden trail or something, and camp the night in my vehicle, go for swims, check out some other remote lakes and stuff. I think I'll do that next week. Go visit a few friends. It's good to, I'm not really social. Don't really have a big social life or anything like that. And got to get into being social. Be around people you know. Doing stuff, you know. Whoa, big rock. Way ahead. Whack my thigh on that, yeah. Memory note on that rock. Yeah, and another one. Oh well, it's part of lake swimming. Yeah, you can be swimming. I cut my foot the other day and smacked my knee. Oh well, I'll live. Yeah, now's the time I start going more remote, as the lakes that are public access with people and stuff. It's really not me. And starts to get busy time of the year, especially when the kids get off of school. I think at the end of June. A lot more travellers on the road, and RVs and all that kind of crap. Yeah. Around these parts as well, it's a summer season is a busy part, right? I mean, it's winter, it's just local. There's not really much going on other than that, right? Everything breaks down, shuts down. Some places remain open for the locals, and that's about it, man. You know, it's seasonal. It's not all year round. But I'll get in my little Chevy, old yellow I call it. It's bright banana yellow, and like I said, I got made a little bed in there. It took me quite a while to figure it out. I've had a few trucks like that where I put beds in, and you know, don't really like tenting. Just get in there and sleep in my vehicle. Got a little cargo box on top. Maybe a stove or something, you know, make a cup of tea and that, and no electricity or nothing, but yeah. go off rural camping, go to the city. I've got some friends up and down the valley. I'll go visit, you know. It's good to go and be social, but normally I'm just, this is it. Do some work on the computer, etc. And where I live, is being social is just saying hi to the grocery clerk. I'm going to do a bit of back pulls, whatever. I say pulls like pec deck. Probably sun on the vid now. Saw a big, huge, well, I don't know what they call it. I was just about to say clump of vultures up in the mountains. They're really high, circling. A circle of vultures. I know what, if you get a lot of crows together, that's called a murder. A murder of crows. A murder of crows. Crazy creature. If you look on my channel, there's one that used to get on my car, get to the come back to me from the grocery shop, or take a ride. It's like a little hitching crow. It's in the short. I put little mad shorts up whenever I can find and stuff. Got little videos from the Northwest Territories that I'm uploading. I don't want to kind of just you know, bombard my channel with videos every day, but I've got quite a lot of videos I took up in the Northwest Territories. Crazy stuff. There's one on there called Ice Tsunami, and literally it's like an ice tsunami. When the river freezes and spring it thaws, it starts breaking up, and it also kind of turned into this mass, what I call ice tsunami. Destructive, yeah, I won't get into that right this minute, but it was quite the thing, because we got flooded when it was moving, took out parts of the island, etc., and then it got jammed, so all the water backed up from the ice. And I lived on it was on an island I lived on, the only inhabitable island in the Northwest Territories, Fort Simpson. Yeah. Well, we had to go and evacuate to the bush, live in the bush. The Red Cross came in, a whole bunch of stuff went on. Yeah. Some lady lost her life, which is a friend of mine's sister. People ODing, stuff like that. Yeah, couldn't make it up. We'd already planned to have an evacuation camp. Me and my friends started digging out the snow and chopping down wood to make an area where we would camp if it did get flooded. There was flood talks before we actually got flooded. Then it was like, we ain't gonna flood, we are gonna flood. It went backwards and forwards, and yo behold, it flooded. And yeah, we all had to evacuate the island, live in the bush. I've got a video of that. I've got a video of the ice tsunami taking out parts of the island, took out cabins, took out monuments, took out a whole lot of crap. And then when it backed up, the ice got jammed, the water backed up. It's a big river. It's 1,700 kilometers long, and I think it's a mile wide in places, and where we were is a mile wide. And that thing gets backed up, that water came over, it started causing havoc. We had to evacuate at a certain depth, so we evacuated. Our place was alright. Our crawl space got flooded, which we never found out about for quite a while, until I went down there. It's a sandy crawl space, so it absorbed the water, and I looked at it and I thought, oh, this is fine, it's not flooded in there. But yo behold, the sand in the crawl space, not a basement, crawl space, I had certain stuff down there, old luggage bags and that, and yeah. Anyways, we had to get it aired out, and they dug a big hole in the front of my yard and a big hole in the back of the house, and came in with these air machines to air it out, and they were put in the wrong way, so it wasn't actually airing it out, it was airing it in. So that went on for a while until we realised that it wasn't doing anything. They had to reverse the fans, and that winter, just real brief, we started getting ice as thick as your leg on the inside of the windows. On the inside of the windows in -40 outside, we would get ice in because all the condensation from below and the heat and everything on with a furnace, diesel furnace, was causing this condensation to rise up from the crawl space on the inside through the vents or somehow, and we started getting ice on the inside, and it slowly just kept building up and building up, and it was thick as my leg. Yeah, crazy. It was still warm inside the house. The ice was on the window. I couldn't even open the window. Well, what I thought was going to be a quick Duncan video has turned into be quite the long one. And I wasn't going to go on about that flood, and I did. So, whatever. I'll probably put the camp, I mentioned I put the video on the, if you check my shorts, I think it's on there, on the ice tsunami. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And it's something else to see, it really is. And then I've got a video I'm going to be editing soon to put up about our cabin. We had one of the best camps because the crazy story is when we had to evacuate, we went to the camp that we had built and dug out with a snow and shovel, dug the snow out, made this area down the Wrigley Highway, it's an unpaved road to the next community in the Decho called Wrigley. And that was probably about 18 kilometers from the village, and when we got there, me and my girl, my friend and his girl, it was boggy. We couldn't camp there, and then my friend had this great idea to go further up the Wrigley Road, and we made base at this gravel pits and turned it into this mass camp and lived out there for a while on the evacuation. And he had his dog, which is a really well-known bush dog, because it was spring. Set up our tents by these gravel pits, made a view for bears, because it was just as it happens, end of hibernation and the bears are coming out, right? Yeah, I don't see anyone living in this place. There's definitely a cabin. Pretty cool. Yeah, and we took all our frozen food and cans of everything, you name it. And then the first night, if you watch this video, you couldn't make it up. We set up the tents and stuff, set up a really good camp, and it pissed it down, torrential freezing rain, man. Yeah, everything just got soaked. We were okay in the tent and stuff, but everything around us was soaked. And then the next day it snowed half a foot, so that was crazy. And then everything turned to mud on road back into the village. It was just mud, glorious mud you've never seen, slipping around in our 4x4s, because back in town had set up a evacuation evacuation area with doctors and nurses and Red Cross tents, provisions, food, wood, and there was a place where they'd made a camp for people that had to camp from the village in an area which belonged to the fire department, in a training ground. It was a training ground for the fire department with old burnt out vehicles and glass and shit, where they put up their tents and teepees and crap, and portaloos, and in the end they put in a few showers and stuff, but it took quite a while. And we used to call that the refugee camp. Yeah, it was pretty horrendous, man. And we were out in the bush for quite a while until we were allowed back on the island to check our place if it was okay. And then that happened, and then we still weren't allowed back, and then when we were allowed back, we got into the house. There was no power and no water for a while, for another week or so. So that went on. It was a complete mess, rebuild in the community. People came together. You've got to come together in that situation, right? But people's minds were affected real badly, you know. A lot of grief. A lot of anxiety. It was a lot of trauma. So I went through that a few years back. Got through that. And that was during COVID, I might add as well, which was crazy. Yeah, it's crazy even thinking about it right now. So I just come into the lake here and I want to see a bit of nature. If I don't, I'm going to gabble on and just let my words flow. Get whatever comes out, and you know, whoever's willing to watch and listen, I appreciate it. That's cool. If you can, maybe you know, hit that like button or share. Leave a comment. I like interacting on YouTube with people, you know. Why not? Be kind. That's a saying in that community as well. KMK. Keep in mind to be kind, right? That's all you got to do, even if you're a miserable twat. You know, you're going through something. Always keep in mind to be kind whenever you can, you know. That could be your grandma, that could be your brother, your sister, your mum, right? You know, your brother, you know. Just keep in mind to be kind, right? If you started feeling, you know, spiteful and, you know, aggressive, keep in mind to be kind. That's all you got to keep saying to yourself, right? And like I said before, and when I started this swim, that positivity change of awesome, life's great, you know. I've been down the bottom of the shit heap, man, lots of times, and I got myself back up and out, and just keep that in your head, you know. It's all in the mind, right? Everything's all in the mind. Party people. And I say party people is because every day's a party. Every day you're living's a party, man. You know, it's not just going out there and taking drugs and getting drunk and then life's a party, mate. You know, that's respect. I'm saying life's a party. Welcome party people, because we're living, yeah. We're taking it up a notch, and the old party people, that's the people who live the day, right? Carpe diem. That's just my meaning at party people. Everyone enjoying the day. Enjoy it and get the best out of it you can, man. Anyway, that was a good little swim. I think I'll come back here and try and enter another entrance around the other side. I hope you enjoyed this vid. If you did, you give me a like. That'd be great. That'd be cool. Share and a comment. I'll try and get back to you. Got a few more videos coming up this week with some more music, some old 89 stuff. Spring into summer, yeah. Okay. That's a pretty good swim, yeah? Let's get our half an hour or more. I hope I ain't bored you to bits. But, little steady one today. Wasn't flipping around, changing my stroke over much. A lot of breaststroke. If you are an outdoor open swimmer, you need a bit of, always consider getting yourself a pair of water resistance training gloves. That's what I've been using. Now I've got to find my way back out of here. Alright, well, yeah. Until next time, yeah. Peace and keep the faith.